Hey, welcome back to the course. In this class, we're going to learn about the singleton design pattern. Initially, I will give you a simple example, and then we can improve this example and do it uh, a little more useful one later down the road. So, in the our simplest example of a singleton design pattern is just a class that returns the same instance every time. So a singleton is a very uh, very useful design pattern that solves a very specific problem. For example, imagine that you have a system that uses a database connection, but to create a database connection, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of resource as well. So in order to avoid that, and you don't need multiple database connections. Once you have a pool of connections, you don't need to recreate them. So it's very is a good practice to keep the same database connection. And when someone create an instance of this database connection inside your API, you just return the same reference of the first instance that was created before. So let's try to translate that into code right now. Not the database specific example, but a simpler one, like class singleton, for example. Imagine that you have. Uh, we can we can create a class, not a class, a method called. Let's create a class method here. Um, why you have a class method? Because you have to save to persist the instance somewhere, right? And for that, you don't want to persist that inside of an instance. You want to persist that um, inside a class itself, the class itself. So that's why you have get instance method here. So we have let's create a protected property here and initialize it with none. And then we can, if cls.instance is none, we can create the instance. So CLS is a reference to the class itself. So we're creating the instance here. All right. Once we have the instance, we can return it. So it's all good. Yeah, that's it. This is the singleton design pattern uh, applied to a class. Now let's use it. Let's use it. Let's create a, imagine that it is not a singleton. It is a, for example, database connection, for example, right? So in the database connection class, we have an instance and you have a function that gives you the instance of the database connection. But if you already have created before, it will return the same instance every time. So we have a problem on this implementation. Imagine that your system it is multi-threaded and you can create an instance in one thread and some other user can create another instance in another thread. So you have to make it a thread safe as well. but we can talk a little bit about that later. All right. In this case, we have to like connection and database dot get instance, right? And we can create like connection to, right? Database connection dot get instance. And we expect that connection and connection to are the same exact uh, instance. So if connection equals to connection to, let's print they are the same, and let's print them. And let's run it. Um, okay, we got into the if statement, right? They are the same, and we have the exact the memory address here. So indeed, they are the same. In the next class, we're going to learn how to create a thread safe um, thread safe singleton example. So thank you.